defensive pass interference a 15-yard penalty rather than a spot foul, but there's concern that making pass interference reviewable would undermine game officials who have to make difficult calls in real time, as we've seen. But here's the question. Do you agree that interference should be a standard 15-yard penalty? I think you may have an example or two or three, but Skip Bayless, your take on this?
I definitely do not agree. This would be a terrible, terrible idea. If, in fact, defensive pass interference ever becomes a standard 15-yard penalty, you can just declare the NFL season over and you can hand the Lombardi to the Seattle Seahawks and their defense, because they would be fouling the heck out of people on deep balls because it would only be a 15-yard penalty. I despise this rule in college football. If I am rooting for a team in college football and there is a deep pass on which the DB is clearly beaten, I just scream, tackle him, because you'd much rather have it just be a tackle 15-yard penalty and go back to the line of scrimmage and march off 15 yards than it to be a touchdown. So it's not fair. It needs to be a spot foul. The gravity of the penalty, given the depth of the pass, needs to be at the spot of the foul. If it's at the 1 yard line, you have to put the ball down at the 1 yard line, because it's too big of a deal to allow the defense to foul to make it only a 15-yard penalty. Now, why is this on the table right now from Troy Vincent? Because, you know, Martin Mayhew, the Detroit Lions GM, he is advocating, after a non-call, a flag that got picked up in the game, obviously Detroit at Dallas in the playoff game, that we talked about. Martin Mayhew is advocating that coaches would be able to occasionally challenge a judgment call. So on that flag, remember Anthony Hitchens on Pettigrew?
Yes. Just like you say, it was a catch. It was pass interference.
It was pass interference. It did not change the game dramatically.
There's 8 minutes left. I know that. I understand that, but still, it was a bogus call.
But my point is,
no call.
While Martin Mayhew wants this, now Troy Vincent, a former defensive back, by the way.
That's right. I was getting ready to bring that up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
He's trying to placate those who would want judgment calls to fall under the challenge rule by saying, well, how about if we just make it a 15-yard penalty? Well, Troy Vincent, during his day, he would have loved that too. Oh, I'll just tackle the guy and it'll only be a 15-yard penalty.
Even though he wouldn't have had to, because he was pretty damn good.
He was pretty good.
He was pretty damn good.
But I'm sure there were times when he got beaten by a step and he had to lunge and try to hit the football instead of just grabbing the guy around the waist and just make sure you don't tackle,
First of all, let me say this. I really appreciate your breakdown. I love what you broke down. I love what you had to say. I don't disagree with you based on what you're saying, but I do disagree with you based on what you didn't say. What you didn't say is that there's too many bogus calls by officials when it comes to dudes in the secondary. And this seems to me to be the safest way to go. Not because of what you're saying. That to me, Skip, is utopia. That to me is saying, all right, you get beat, so you tackle a guy. It's clearly pass interference, but now you know that all you're going to get is a 15-yard penalty, so you hate that. You're right about that. But I can't count how many times I've seen a call where it wasn't pass interference and the daggone call got made and it bailed out a quarterback, it bailed out an offense, it bailed out a coach who just say throw the damn ball up and let's hope that we get a call, because you know what, that's the way it may go. It's a 50-50 shot because of all the contact, the new rules and stipulations, and the way defenders have driven my boy poor Ray Lewis crazy because he's on a crusade that we need to protest the league office, do something to get defensive players in the NFL some respect because of these bogus calls against everybody. I'm saying to you, because of that reality, I am in support of the 15-yard penalty because there are entirely too many missed calls. But for utopia purposes, I'm with you.
Okay.
If we could get to there.
Okay. Here's the difference in our opinions. In despising the concept of a 15-yard penalty for pass interference, I am looking at the referee glass as half full. I'm accepting that referees are generally pretty good. You're looking at it as half empty because you're saying they're often pretty awful.
On
right?
the pass interference.
That's what I'm saying.
I think they judge too harshly overall.
Okay,
I think they follow the rules. But when it comes to pass interference,
all right.
it's too many questionable decisions.
If you say that referees are generally awful calling pass interference, then you're right. There should be just a blanket 15-yard penalty.
If you're saying they're generally
pretty good,
you're right.
Then I should be right. Are you with me? I think we lost you
No,
on
no,
that.
no, I got it. I got you.
She's with you.
All right.
But that's what I'm saying.
Okay, because there are glaring awful calls on pass interference, and a lot of them are on deep balls where all of a sudden you get the ball at the 1 yard line.
Exactly. But Skip, to me, it's the profound impact it has. Your offense ain't doing anything right. You can't do anything. I mean, you completed 3 passes for crying out loud. Let me just throw it up. All right, everybody, y'all jostling for the ball and flag, pass interference.
Okay.
How many times do we see a quarterback? What? What are you calling? How you gonna bail him out like that? That's the kind of stuff where you're not moving the ball and I'm just throwing Hail Marys and I'm getting over. That's my issue.
Okay.
That's my issue.
Right, now,
or how about this? How about meeting us meeting halfway with one another? How about us half distance of the pass? You throw a 50-yard pass, it's a pass interference. It's 25 yards.
Not bad.
Now, you see what I'm saying? How about that? Half the distance of the throw.
You like
We'd
what
have
he
to
says?
stop the game to measure the.
No, we wouldn't. It's not that.
Okay.
Half the distance of the pass.
I'd have to think about that. I'm going to have to sleep on that one, but I will say this.
You exercise your 24-hour rule. You can take
take 24 hours to talk about it.
Yeah. I have to exercise it often with you.
There you go. Yes, you do.
That's not true.
Sometimes.
That's assuming I can catch him to give him some information to consider for 24 hours because he's usually out of pocket.
Now back to Martin Mayhew's proposal that your head coach would have the ability to challenge a judgment call such as Anthony Hitchens on Pettigrew.
Right.
What if Detroit could have thrown the flag? Jim Caldwell could throw the challenge flag and they could review the Hitchens play. Okay, as a Cowboy fan, I would be the first to admit it's going to get overturned. It's going to become pass interference again. They actually overturned it on the field. I still don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But okay.
And you don't care.
I don't care because I won. And it was a catch. But that's a whole other issue.
You care about that catch,
I do care about that catch.
Right.
Okay. But my point is, I'm with Martin Mayhew. I would like to see them be able to challenge judgment calls. Now, the Jerry Joneses of the world say you can't do that. You can't take human error completely out of football. I'm good with it. I'm good.
Here's what I'm not good with. The amount of time it takes. And by the way, that's a problem with the NBA game, too. This reviewing.
Okay.
I mean, good Lord. I mean, let us know so we can go and get some hot dogs, some soda and stuff like that. I mean, let us do something like, because you take all day, it shouldn't take that long.
That's their problem for taking too long.
Okay.
But I still like getting the call right. If there's a late out-of-bounds call in an NBA game, I want it right.
Wait a minute, Skip. Whether it's NBA or NFL, we've seen plenty of times where it has been reviewed and they still come back with the wrong call.
And they still get it wrong.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
But more often than not, when they do review it, they get it right.
More often than not, true. But Skip, if you're reviewing something with the videotape, you should almost never get it wrong.
Even as a Cowboy fan, I'm willing to admit the Lions-Cowboys playoff game would have been a little better and a little more credible if they had been able to review that with the videotape. Because I think that crew would have come back around full circle to say, hey, it was pass interference. Because it was clearly pass interference. Unfortunately for Detroit, it happened with 8 minutes to go. Unfortunately for you, 8 minutes left in the game, so lots happened after that to change the game.
Got it. Okay.
So, Troy, if you are listening, which you may be.
I'm very proud that the NFL is giving Troy more of a voice.
Yeah, well, then you can give me answers.
Sometimes you don't love his voice.
No, he does. He rides for Troy.
I've known Troy for many years. I love hearing Troy because I'd rather hear Troy than Roger Goodell half the time now.
Well,
Troy, you're welcome to have
just me.
Here at the desk. Coming up next, though, we're going to the NBA. He can't. LeBron James continues to shatter records, proving he's the greatest player on the planet. At least someone would say that at the desk. Is that you, Skip?
Definitely.
Oh, okay. We're talking LeBron James after the break.